31 from 124. And two diagrams, sympathetic and parasympathetic reflex arc. What is it?
Spinal.
Spinal cord. This one is radix posterior, here it is radix anterior. They join together and forms
Spinal
trunk of the spinal nerve, and this trunk subdivides into rami dorsalis, rami ventralis. The same, we have rami meningi and rami communicans albi and grisi. But now I want to repeat with you somatic reflex arc, somatic. That is why not necessary to draw another branches, only anterior and posterior, ramus ventralis and dorsalis. From receptors in tissues, From receptors, sensory fibers pass through spinal nerve and goes to posterior root and first sensory neuron, always
Spinal ganglion.
in spinal ganglion, pseudonipolar neuron. Axon of this neuron goes to spinal cord and finish in internuncial neuron in posterior horn. Axon of this second neuron goes to motor neuron in anterior horn, that is third motor neuron, and axon of this motor neuron pass through anterior root, spinal nerve, and goes to posterior anterior branch and finish in striated muscles. That is effector. That is somatic reflex arc. You already know. And now vegetative reflex arc. One again, posterior root with ganglion, anterior root, trunk of the spinal nerve. Here it is ramus dorsalis, ramus ventralis, ramus communicans albus, ganglion of sympathetic trunk, and ramus communicans grisius. And here it is inner organs, for example, stomach. From receptors in inner organs, sensory fibers pass through spinal nerve and goes to ganglion. Here it is one again, first neuron. It is good for you because everywhere first neuron in spinal go in somatic and in vegetative, in sympathetic and in parasympathetic. First neuron always in spinal ganglion. And second neuron for sympathetic. Now we discuss sympathetic reflex arc. Have you got red or pen or maybe pencil? Red, very good. Second neuron for sympathetic reflex arc. That is, help me, what is this nucleus in lateral horn? Nucleus
intermediate
lateralis, very good. Nucleus intermediate lateralis in segments from CH till lumbar 3. From here, that is second neuron, second. From this neuron, axon of the second neuron leaves medulla spinalis, that is spinal cord, leaves spinal cord, pass through anterior root, trunk of the spinal nerve, goes to rami communicans albi, and finish in ganglion of sympathetic trunk, that is ganglion of the first order. And from this ganglion, postganglionic fibers goes to inner organs and finish in smooth muscles in wall of the inner organs or in the region of glands, supplies inner organs. That is sympathetic reflex arc. But some fibers interrupts in ganglion of the second order. In sympathetic reflex arc, we have two types of ganglions. Ganglions of the first order and ganglions of the second order. And third neuron It may be present in this ganglion or in this ganglion. Some fibers interrupts in ganglion of the first order, and other fibers interrupts in ganglions of the second order. That is specific feature of sympathetic reflex arc. And last moment, sympathetic fibers the same leaves ganglion of the first order and through rami communicans grisii goes to spinal nerves, and together with spinal nerves goes to somatic, goes to muscles, skin, joints, and supplies soma, extremities, trunk, everything, because this sympathetic fiber supplies smooth muscles in vessels. They participate in metabolism in tissues, that is nutrition of tissues, with the help of sympathetic innervation through somatic nerves. That is why sympathetic nervous system consists of visceral part, which goes to inner organs, and somatic part, which supplies soma, that is muscles, bones, joints, skin, everything. That is why sympathetic nervous system supplies everything in human body, both soma and inner organs. Parasympathetic supplies only inner organs. And now we will draw a reflex arc of parasympathetic reflex arc. That is the same spinal cord. Posterior root with ganglion, anterior root, spinal nerve. It is inner organ. For example, urinary bladder. From receptors in inner organs, sensory fibers pass through spinal nerve, through anterior root, spinal nerve, and goes to first neuron sensory in spinal ganglion. Second neuron for parasympathetic reflex arc, that is nucleus parasympathicus sacralis in sacral segments from second to fourth sacral segments, and from here, from nucleus parasympathicus sacralis, postganglionic, preganglionic fibers pass with anterior root, spinal nerve, rami ventralis, goes to inner organs, and near of inner organs finish in said neuron in ganglion terminale, terminal ganglion terminale, that is parasympathetic ganglion or ganglion of the third order. In sympathetic nervous system we have ganglion of the first order and ganglion of the second order. In parasympathetic nervous system, ganglions of the third order. What is the differences? First order ganglions are near of vertebral column. They are paravertebral ganglions or ganglions of sympathetic trunk. Ganglions of the second order, they are prevertebral ganglions or ganglia intermedia, and they are present in vegetative plexus. For example, maybe you already know largest vegetative plexus in abdominal cavity. Who remember? We discussed it together with vagus nerve. Who remember? What is a very large
ganglion
plexus celiacus. Good, plexus celiacus, or another name that is solar plexus. That is vegetative plexus, and in this plexus we have ganglions of the second order. They are sympathetic ganglions of the second order. And third order ganglions are near of inner organs or inside of inner organs, and they are parasympathetic, and they have names ganglion terminale, terminal ganglions, ganglion terminale. These two diagrams, sympathetic and parasympathetic, next time. The same necessary to know centers of vegetative nervous system. We have four centers, segmentary, four segmentary centers. They are mesencephalic center, bulbar, thoracolumbar, and sacral. Sacral center, that is nucleus parasympathicus sacralis in segments from S2 to S4. Thoracolumbar center, that is sympathetic center, it is nucleus intermedia lateralis in segments from CH to lumbar 3. Mesencephalic center, which vegetative nuclei do you know in midbrain? Today you prepare
Nucleus
medianus, impar, and nucleus accessorius. These nuclei are vegetative nuclei of third cranial nerve. They form mesencephalic center, and it is parasympathetic center. And bulbar center, that is vegetative nuclei in medulla oblongata and in pons. They are nucleus salivatorius superior, nucleus salivatorius inferior, and nucleus dorsalis nervi vagi. These three nuclei in bulbar center, they are also parasympathetic. That is why we have three parasympathetic centers: mesencephalic, bulbar, and sacral, and one sympathetic center, that is thoracolumbar. And the same, we have suprasegmentary centers. They are not specific. They participate both in sympathetic innervation and in parasympathetic innervation. They are not specific. They are cerebellum, hypothalamus, reticular formation, limbic system with basal nuclei, and brain cortex. That is suprasegmentary centers. And last moment. It is not necessary to draw, but you should know and answer. Look here, that is inner organ, stomach for example, and here it is ganglion. It may be ganglion of each order. It may be ganglion of the third order, or second, or first. It is not so important. And these ganglions, all vegetative ganglions, has three types of neurons. They are Dodgel cells of the first type, Dodgel cells of the third, and Dodgel cells of the second. Here it is second, and here it is third. Dodgel cells of the first type, they are motor neurons. They supplies inner organs, goes to effector. Here it is this third neuron, that is Dodgel cells of the first type, and here it is Dodgel cells of the first type, and this one is also Dodgel cells of the first type. It is motor neuron. It's send motor impulses to inner organs. It is clear. Dodgel cells of the second type, it is sensory neuron. It's receive sensory impulses from receptors in inner organs and send impulse to Dodgel cells of the third type. It is internuncial, and it gives impulses to motor neuron Dodgel cells of the first. And we receive peripheral reflex arc. These reflex arcs, this and this, they are central reflex arc because it's passed through central nervous system. Here and here, they are central reflex arches. And this one is peripheral reflex arc at the level of vegetative ganglion, because we have three types of neurons in ganglion, and receptors from inner organs goes to Dodgel cells of the second, it is sensory neuron, then goes to Dodgel cells of the third type, it is internuncial, and goes to Dodgel cells of the first type, motor, and supplies inner organs. That is why functions like in digestive system, peristalsis of inner organs, or secretion of gastric juice, or that is easy functions of inner organs regulates with the help of vegetative ganglions. Not necessary to participate central nervous system in these functions of inner organs. That is why specific feature of vegetative nervous system to presence of peripheral reflex arches at the level of ganglions. And again, not necessary to draw this diagram. If I ask you to draw reflex arc, you need to draw central reflex arc, sympathetic or parasympathetic. Clear?